And we're back inside the HSBC Arena. Hey, Harnum, that's the real reason. The Canisius fans getting after Coach Don Harnum, the head coach for the Rider Broncs. Those two schools about to go at it. And here are the starting lineups brought to you by I Love New York. Come out and play in New York State. Wilson, Harris, Popovsky, Downey, and Doss for the hometown boys. Meanwhile, Rider has Munoz, Thompson, Paul Johnson, and Jerry Johnson, no relation, and Taylor as well. The coaching matchup brought to you by Anaconda Sports and The Rock. Mike McDonald and Don Harnum, The Rock, the official basketball of the MAAC.
Don Harnum and his Rider Broncs trying to advance to the semifinal bracket in the MAAC tournament for the first time ever.
And if they're going to do it, that man will have to lead them there. Jerry Johnson, a senior from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, who averages 18.8 points per game. That's fourth best in the league. He shoots 40% from beyond the arc. That's sixth best in the league. He's fourth in the league in assists at 4.5 per, and he's the best foul shooter in the MAAC at 90%. The do-everything guard for the Broncs, and there he strips the ball away from DeWitt Doss out of bounds to keep the Griffs from getting a quick two.
A third-time first-team All-MAAC selection, and what he wants to do is get an opportunity for his team to advance on. Not only have they never made the semifinal round of the MAAC tournament, but they've gotten knocked out in overtime in each of his first three seasons. That's a tough way to go out.
Popovsky misfires, Taylor the rebound, and Rider has not been to the NCAA tournament in 11 years now, back in 1994. Before they joined the MAAC, Kevin Bannon led Deion Haynes and Tim Penix into the NCAA. And so Rider, as the co-champion in the regular season, has hopes and dreams of Monday night dancing here at HSBC Arena.
And talking to Don Harnum, he said one of the keys is for us to get off to a good start. Canisius already has a game under their belt. This is Rider coming out and playing in the tournament for the first time. He said we have not made a big deal about the fact that we've never gotten to the semifinal, but other people have, and my players, they know what's going on.
There's a turnover right to Downey. The junior from Livonia doing what he does best, on the move, knocking it down.
Absolutely, and especially once he gets himself inside into the lane, that's where his size and strength as the 6'3" strong guard allows him to finish.
Taylor misses. Munoz, the garbage man for the Broncs, will go to the line to shoot two.
Munoz had a very good game first time these two teams met. Rider sweeping this series in the regular season, winning up in Buffalo by 5 after coming down from a big deficit in the first half, and then winning in overtime in Lawrenceville. But Munoz, with 19 points in that first game, did not play in the rematch back at Rider, as he was sitting out after having a concussion against Manhattan.
Downey off to the quick start for the Griffs. He averages 16.5 points per game. And as you mentioned earlier, Rob, he is a stat stuffer, not just scoring, but does a lot of things to keep this Canisius team in ball games. Taylor for three.
He right now is playing with the most offensive confidence that he's had in his entire career. Why not? Coming off a career high 23 last time out against Niagara.
Popovsky passes out of the double team as Thompson and Taylor converge. Canisius is wearing its road blue uniforms. Last night they wore the whites because they were the higher seed. But with the switch to the blue uniforms, we see that Darnell Wilson is back to wearing number 1. He had to switch to number 22 in last night's game because of some blood on it. But Wilson is back to number 1. There he is.
One of the reasons why Canisius is able to run this four-guard offense is because Downey will take you inside and post you up as he did on that possession.
Popovsky still with the dribble. Finds Doss in the corner. Johnson all over him. Wilson misfired. Thompson with a rebound. Keep your eye on number 21 in white. He is lightning fast. Thompson posting Popovsky, and he's called for the offensive foul.
Tough matchup inside. Popovsky trying to hang on in the low post against Jason Thompson, the talented freshman. Popovsky with a dive, and they buy it.
4-2, Rider with the lead. Canisius with the basketball. Now, Popovsky's listed at 6'2". I'm not sure he's quite that tall. And Thompson is a long 6'9". So
every bit of it. Yep.
They certainly went to the right spot on the floor, just didn't get the call. Wilson, nice move to the basket. And he finishes with authority.
And you can see why his numbers are up as a center, because as he draws other centers away from the basket, he uses his quickness to get by people.
4-4 Ryder and Canisius tie. Munoz drawn to the basket, but a wild shot. Downey comes away with the steal, and here comes Canisius. Harris rejected by Thompson, and the Bronx come galloping the other way. 5-on-3. Jerry Johnson off the crossover. The step back short on the three. And Ryder retains possession. Taylor for three. Canisius gives up size inside. They have to scrap extra hard for rebounds. They will give up second shot opportunities, but they were able to survive that sequence without giving up any points.
And they survived the first round game after getting beat up badly on the backboards against Marist, but they did clean it up in the second half to close the gap.
Harris for three. And as we saw why small ball can work for Darnell Wilson, taking the bigger defender to the basket. There's the perimeter attack of Harris, able to knock down the long three.
Yeah, so many times he gets the defensive matchup against a four-man. He's able to draw him away from the basket.
Now Popovsky, the help defender, picks up the reach-in foul. 16:22 left to go in the first half as we take another look.
Munoz very comfortable isolating himself down in on the low block. That's where, if you're Ryder, we've seen Canisius take advantage of small ball at this end of the floor with their quickness getting by people. Ryder's got to try to establish mismatches of their own inside the post, especially with Munoz.
Rigoberto Sargent and Marcus Vanderhyde come in for Canisius, and coming off the bench for Ryder, the big fella, senior center Steve Castleberry, being used in reserve for Don Harnum's ball club.
Vanderhyde did not see any action last night against Marist, so he gets early time here against Ryder.
Munoz is 3 out of 4 from the line so far here in the early moments of our second round game here tonight in Buffalo. 7-6 Canisius. Now the Golden Griffins used to play some regular season home games here at HSBC Arena, but since they have refurbished the Kessler Athletic Center on campus, they have moved all of their home games back out to campus. They did play one regular season game here back in the early part of the year because it was a Big Four game. That's what they call the 4 Division I schools out here in Western New York. They played and beat St. Bonaventure here in front of a big crowd.
Yep, but they're comfortable in this building. 24-14 all-time here at the HSBC, including a 5-3 mark during MAAC tournament.
Well, in that game, they drew nearly 10,000 for the early season showdown with the Bonnies. St. Bonaventure, the University of Buffalo, and then the 2 MAAC schools, Niagara and Canisius, are called the Big Four. Johnson, that's Paul Johnson for 3.
They have plenty of time to spot it up because of the nice kick out by Munoz. He's going to draw double team attention inside. Other guys on the perimeter are going to be open.
Keep an eye on number 24 in blue. Sargent has been very active in the tournament so far. And also, like you said, Rob, in the matchups earlier against Ryder, there's the backdoor pass to Downey. And the reverse.
A nice feed as Downey always moving without the basketball. And Sargent finds him. Sargent gave him a big lift defensively last night after Will McClurkin dominated the paint in the first half. Sargent cleaned it up inside in the second.
And there's Sargent playing tough defense, giving up size to Castleberry. He gets the rebound and starts the break, and Harris is fouled at the other end.
Much better pace in the first half tonight for Canisius than we saw last night against Marist.
We've got our first officials timeout. We'll take a break with a 9-all score. 14:57 left to go. Sarge to Downey for 2. The Griffs trying to move on to the semis. Canisius 9, Rider 9, 14:57 left to go here in the first half from Buffalo, and we reintroduce the third member of our broadcast team here at the MAAC tournament, Dave McGarity. Dave?
Thanks a lot, Doug. I just had a little bite to eat. I hope you guys aren't hungry. I look for you. I try to get you something, but
no, you didn't.
You sound much more energized.
Very selfish over there.
Well, you guys have to remember now. I did 2 women's games, so let's not forget about that. This is my 4th game tonight, so I don't hear no crying from over there.
Can we cut off his mic now?
I just what I would like to talk about, if permitted here, would be to go.
We'll let you if you get to it. Come on, spit it out, my man.
Well, you know, we did that great game back in Lawrenceville a few weeks back, and
right.
You know, all the intriguing matchups, and watching Canisius here, having a chance to see them play 4 more times since that game. Their guard play, the 4-guard offense has now become such a staple for them. They've done such a great job with it. Had everything to do with their huge comeback in the second half last night against Marist. And here you got a real dilemma for Rider with Thompson and Castleberry and Muniz and Johnson. I mean, having to match up with those 4 guards on a consistent basis for 40 minutes presents a lot of matchup problems, and it's really going to test Donnie Harnum and just his staff in terms of getting those matchups, coming out of timeouts, coming out of substitution patterns. So we'll see how things unfold here in the first half. But back to you, and I'm going to go grab a sub or something.
Well, the change to the 4-guard offense happened midway through the season, and Canisius finished the year going 9-8 during that stretch, and they have certainly grown into their roles that way.
Absolutely, and one of the reasons why they went to the 4-guard offense is Popovsky became eligible after serving a 7-game suspension to start the season when Canisius got off to that real rough start at just 1-9 to begin the year.
Take another look at the defensive pressure that Jerry Johnson faces every time. Made a bad pass against the double team, and Canisius gets it on the alternate possession.
One place that Rider's been able to exert their size advantage has been on the backboards. 4 offensive rebounds already from the Bronx. They've got a 6-rebound advantage in the early going.
Downey in there with the trees, making it look easy.
Yeah, and he does, because he always has center of gravity. Never leaves his feet to take a wild shot. Always got a good center of gravity. 2 feet on the floor. Solid finish inside.
Terrence Mouton in the backcourt now for Rider off the bench. Paul Johnson is fouled on his drive into the paint. 13:28 left to go here in the first half. Canisius has opened a 4-point lead as we take another look at the foul.
Talked about Downey with the nice solid jump stop as he got into the lane. Paul Johnson doing the same.
Johnson has put up some solid numbers this year, the junior from Virginia Beach, Virginia. This season, Aeropostale is donating an article of clothing for every free throw made during conference play. Aeropostale and the MAAC distributing these clothes to youth groups in our communities. 2,843 were made this season. And so that's how many articles of clothes are being donated. Thank you very much, Aeropostale. Johnson missed them both. And Anthony Bird into the ball game for the Golden Griffins with a rebound. DeWitt Doss. Here's Bird. Shot clock under 20. Bird fires it up and comes up well short. Mouton the long rebound, and Bird gives up the foul after missing the shot.
The Compounds taking a bad shot, not within the context of their offense, by picking up a foul in the backcourt.
Some sage advice. I don't know if the microphones picked it up, but Artie McDonald, veteran official, says to Jason Thompson, the inbound man, look nice for your mom.
Yeah, tuck in your shirt and look nice.
Just in case mom's watching, back in Mount Laurel, New Jersey.
Canisius goes zone. It was the zone that really helped them late in the second half after Will McClurkin just roamed freely in the first half inside. Mike McDonald switched to the zone defense in the second half. It paid dividends, pays dividends first time they show it here today as Thompson spins the wheels as he gets going.
Perhaps Artie McDonald should have told him not to shuffle his feet. Instead he did and turns it over. Canisius gets it back up 4.
That would have been sage advice. Riders turned it over 5 times already, so that has negated their advantage on the backboard.
Popowski, Doss, Downey working the perimeter along with Bird and Darnell Wilson. Downey has it stripped away by White. Shot clock becoming an issue, so Doss lets her rip. Off the glass and in.
He called it. I heard him. DeWitt Doss throws it up. He's a guy that many times late in the shot clock they put the ball in his hands to deliver. Not quite sure that's exactly what they had diagrammed, but it worked.
Well, the last time the MAAC tournament ventured here to Western New York, Canisius made it all the way to the finals before losing to Iona. DeWitt Doss, the only holdover from that team. He's a 5th-year senior who played as a reserve on that team. Mike McDonald hoping some of that can rub off here this weekend.
He said all the talk about playing well coming down the stretch. He said one of the key things for us was to take that next necessary step. Doss, the only player on the team that had ever won a game in the MAAC tournament. He said very important for us to lay the foundation this year with so many guys coming back next year.
Terrific backdoor feed, but a traveling violation is called. 11:28 to go. We've got ourselves a timeout. DeWitt Doss, the senior from just up the road in Niagara Falls, making a big shot off the window. 5-point Canisius lead.
What are you looking for in a college? Cutting-edge academic programs, a faculty that's second to none, great recreational opportunities and residence halls? How about a college that will provide you with the education you need to become a leader in your profession and in your community? If that's what you're looking for in a college, you'll find it at Canisius. To learn more about Canisius College, call 1-800-843-1517 or visit us on the web at canisius.edu. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
The Canisius Golden Griffins with a 5-point lead. 11:28 left to go in the first half in round number 2 of the MAAC tournament. Fans, the New York Lottery MAAC Scholar Athlete of the Year is St. Peter's guard Corey Hinnant, a grad student from Bayshore, New York. Winners are selected each week and each year based on grade point average, community participation, and good sportsmanship. The New York Lottery, sporting education since 1967, salutes Corey Hinnant for his achievements. Unfortunately for Corey and the rest of the Peacocks, they are headed back to Jersey City after being blown out in the first game tonight by the Iona Gales. Iona moves on to round number 3, the semifinals, where tomorrow afternoon they will face the Niagara Purple Eagles. Jerry Johnson at the point for the Bronx. Aaron White out there with Munoz, Thompson, and this is Mouton. In they go to Thompson.
That's where they've got to get some finishes. They've got to be able to score it in the post.
That was a 2-point try. Mouton with another long rebound. 3-on-2. Mouton, the nice bounce pass. Thompson missed the reverse. The freshman still working at it, and Rigoberto Sargent says, get it out of here.
He leads the team in blocks despite limited playing time at over 1.5 blocks per game.
Sargent gets it blocked at the other end by Thompson.
2 young freshmen battling head-to-head inside in the lane.
And I should say, Sargent very active in the game last night against Marist. He played only 16 minutes, didn't really put up any particular numbers, but he provided an energy that really helped them win.
Yeah, great defense inside against Will McClurkin, and then 4 important points. His first 2 points got them tied, and then his next 2 points in a 4-0 run got them over the top and finally got them back into the lead.
That pass was telegraphed by White. Harris saw it and knocked it out of bounds. Downey and Wilson come back in for Canisius. Bird and Popowski go out. White goes out for Ryder. And back into the ball game for the Ryder Bronx, in town from Lawrenceville, New Jersey, Paul Johnson. Johnson took a little shot to the face by Downey after releasing the ball. Misfired the 3. And it goes to Canisius.
Johnson 0 for 3 from the field. All 3 of those field goal attempts have been three-point shots. He's got to put the ball to the floor, try and get into gaps, and not just settle for three-point shots.
Well, Jerry Johnson so far 0 for 2, 0 for 3 now with 0 points.
So Ryder in their zone defense, which they continually mix things up throughout the season between their man-to-man defense and the 3-2 zone.
Griffs turn it over. Here come the Bronx once again running. Jerry Johnson looks off the defense and hits the jumper.
So his first shot attempt inside of the three-point line is good. Out in transition, that's where Ryder is at their best, and that's where Jerry Johnson is at his best. The fastest guy with the ball in this league.
And much like Keedron Clark in our first game tonight, who got off to a slow start for St. Peter's, the same can be said for Jerry Johnson. Although the difference is that Ryder has not fallen behind 17-0 like St. Peter's did.
Well, clearly he's got some better complementary players around him than Kiki Clark does around him.
Wilson connects, and yeah, head coach Don Harnum says that in the 4 years Jerry Johnson has been at Ryder, this is the best supporting cast he's ever had around him. And certainly that would have borne itself out because they shared the regular season title with Niagara. They went 13-5 in MAAC play this year. They are 17-10 overall. And the foul against the Golden Griffins on the low post called against Darnell Wilson.
Kevin Downey gets deep into the lane, draws the defense, and leaves it off for the easy shot along the baseline for Wilson. Wilson knows it's a good pass and recognizes Downey. Downey averages nearly 4 assists per game to go along with his 6 rebounds and 16 points.
Jason Thompson has to take a seat, Rob, with his second personal foul. So Castleberry has come back in for the Bronx. Slow start to the ball game offensively for Ryder. Yet down just 5. Munoz from 21. He's kind of the do-everything guy for Ryder. He'll get the dirty points underneath, and then he can step out and knock down a 21-footer.
And that's why he's tough to guard, because of his versatility to take it into the low blocks and then step it out. 36% on the season from beyond the 3.
He leads Ryder now with 8 points. Popofsky misses. Paul Johnson the rebound. And Ryder, in spite of itself, with the poor shooting, has a chance to take the lead here with a 3.
And if you want to run, you get a rebound.
There's Munoz inside, but couldn't tie the ball game. DeWitt Doss back the other way. Munoz finished the regular season strong in that classic game with Niagara. He scored 23 points. And he is capable of putting up some big points. So is this guy, Downey.
Double-doubles in each of his last 2 games, including that game against Niagara.
Popofsky able to out-quick Munoz to that long rebound. Now Popofsky in the corner. Missed the runner. Sargent can't clean it up. Castleberry gets in there and mixes it up, and Johnson has it for the Bronx.
Sargent's got to finish those easy ones inside.
Munoz left alone again. He is on fire. 11 points for the 6'7 junior out of Passaic.
Better not leave him alone anymore. Get out and guard him. Get a hand in his face.
19-18 Ryder. Sargent again struggling to get the shot off. Munoz and Castleberry double teaming him. And the Bronx on a roll. Here's Jerry Johnson. Nice look into the corner. And a nicer looking 3-point shot. And the Bronx have blown by the Golden Griffins.
So it's the 3-point shooting of Ryder that's gotten them back into the lead, but it hasn't been from Jerry Johnson. Instead, it's a couple forwards stepping up and spotting up from deep. Munoz started it off. And then last time out, Johnson. But Munoz is the guy that has gotten things going. As we said, not just from inside, but his ability to step it out from deep, knocking down threes, back-to-back 3-pointers from Munoz. And then Johnson. So 3 quick threes from the forwards of Ryder.
And the Bronx now on a 13-2 run, triggered by that man, the junior from Passaic, New Jersey. And we saw a quick glimpse of the folks who've come up from the Bronx Zoo. The sign now says, "We brought the zoo to Buffalo," and they are able to provide a little bit of the home court advantage, perhaps, that they enjoy down at Alumni Gymnasium in Lawrenceville. There is the Bronc, the mascot for Rider University. And over the last 5.5 minutes, Rob, again, a 13-2 Rider run to take this 22-18 lead.
Too many missed opportunities inside from Sargent. And a couple easy baskets and opportunities, but unable to convert.
Vanderhyde working on the much taller Castleberry, and Johnson comes down to tie him up.
Johnson always has been their energy guy all season long, giving them an energy, not just knocking down threes, but terrific defense as well. Rider out to the 4-point lead.
There are some members of the Bronx Zoo who've made the trip from Lawrenceville, New Jersey up to Buffalo. Rider with a 22-18 lead. And here is the Broadway Marketing mind-bending trivia question for this game. Back in 2002, Rider's Jerry Johnson tied the record for most three-pointers made in a single tournament game. How many did he have? Jerry Johnson, a record-setting performer for Rider University. Broadway Marketing mind-bending branded solutions, and I referenced in the open, Rob, that he scored 36 points in that game against Canisius as a freshman, and it was really his coming-out party. So I've given you his game total of 36 points. How many of those came on three-pointers? We'll have the answer for you in just a little bit. Broadway Marketing, mind-bending branded solutions.
The Riders starting to take advantage of their size. We said it was going to be interesting to see which team was going to be able to play to their strengths. The quickness of Canisius on the perimeter or the size inside of Rider. Rider off to the slow start. Since then, heating it up.
Vanderhyde gets Canisius back within 4.
Well, a few times we've seen the Golden Griffs get after it on the offensive glass.
Mouton, Thompson, Johnson, Castleberry, and Paul Johnson out there for the Bronx in their home white uniforms. Keep in mind, big number 1 for Rider. Thompson is playing with 2 fouls. Jerry Johnson draws the foul, and he'll shoot 2.
Johnson with the ball fake. Anytime he shows the ball, the defense has to respect it. Ball fake, Popovsky in the air, and as soon as Johnson's got him in the air, he's just leaning in, looking for the contact. Late whistle, but a good call. He's up in the air. Johnson jumping in, trying to create contact.
Foul number 2 on Popovsky in the 6th against Canisius. Jerry Johnson continues to struggle just with 2 points.
The Riders dominated the battle of the boards, but right here, Vanderhyde able to go get himself an easy putback. Nobody puts a body on him because the defense rotated over to challenge Downey on the shot.
So Jerry Johnson, a 90% foul shooter, back at the line after missing the first. A 3-time first-team All-MAAC star. Gets 1 out of 2. Now, he's streaky. We talk about his explosiveness. He's streaky, good and bad. He can take over a game, but also he can go into droughts, and he's kind of been in a drought here in the first half through the first 15 minutes.
And we saw his best streak as he just went on fire down the stretch to pull out that thrilling overtime win against Niagara in the regular season finale.
How about the ability of Kevin Downey to use his left hand, finish with a defender right on?
Yeah, how many guards do you see who are as comfortable as Downey is getting himself inside? Not just off the bounce, but setting up and posted inside. This time he comes to the high post, able to swim right around Munoz and get it up on the glass. Great finish inside.
Downey averages 16.5 points per game, and you see he's halfway to that total. Robert Taylor replaces Paul Johnson for Rider. Canisius rallied from 9 down at halftime last night to beat Marist 62-60 to reach this second-round game against Rider. They only turned the ball over 10 times in that game. Played some good defense like that. Harris with the emphatic block.
You know, they have the stat of team rebound. That was a team block. All 3 guys coming over to challenge. Munoz with the ball fake. He's a good 3-point shooter, so you've got to respect him. And then the block from Harris. If not for him, it was going to be Sargent.
4 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the first half. 25-22, Rider with the lead and the basketball. Johnson tried to find Munoz on the pick and roll, then Thompson forced it in, and then Johnson gives up the foul.
Thompson thought he saw an opportunity for a post-up inside, didn't realize that the defender on the wing had sagged in, given help. It's one of the tough things for Thompson. They're not guarding Thompson on the perimeter, so it's much harder for him to be able to find passing lanes to dump it inside to the post.
This is Chuck Harris, 6'3" sophomore from Detroit. Having trouble with the dribble, now gives it off to the senior DeWitt Doss. He has really had a calming influence on this Canisius team this year. As mentioned, from just up the road at Niagara Falls, regularly has his mom cook team dinners. He is the true leader for the Griffs, and there he is knocking down the jump shot. DeWitt Doss now with 5 points.
And he's one of those guys very comfortable scoring it while he's guarded. Many of his baskets are tough shots.
Doss with a rebound. He's only 5'10", but he's willing to get down and scrap for a rebound. Darnell Wilson, they begged him to shoot it. Off of Sargent, out of bounds. We've got a timeout with 3:41 left to go here in the first half. DeWitt Doss and the Canisius Golden Griffins down by 1. Rider 25-24 on the MAAC Television Network. Rider 25, Canisius 24. It's been a slow start for Jerry Johnson. He's only got 3 points, but boy, he can light it up in the MAAC tournament, which gets us back to our trivia question brought to you by Broadway Marketing. Mind-bending trivia. How many three-pointers did Johnson hit back in his freshman year against these same Canisius Golden Griffins when he scored 36? The number is, there you go, 8.
The only problem, that was in a losing effort as his team got upset as the #1 seed, 85-84 in overtime. One of those 3 consecutive knockout punches in the MAAC tournament in overtime.
Broadway Marketing, mind-bending branded solutions. And as we talked about, Johnson is the primary catalyst, but so far here tonight, his teammates, the role players, if you will, have helped to pick up the slack, and more on that. Here's Dave McGarity. Dave?
Thanks a lot, Doug. You know, it's funny, I talked to Danny Harnum, and he likes to refer to his team and himself as the Rodney Dangerfields of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. They just don't get any respect. And, you know, Jerry Johnson obviously has had a tremendous career. Three-time first team, all-league player, rookie of the year. But, you know, a guy like Ed Munez really gets overlooked as there's a lot of these other guys. Now, Thompson, the freshman, did make the all-rookie team. But one of the interesting things I noticed throughout the year was not one player from Rider made the player of the week or rookie of the week until the very last week, and Jerry Johnson had the great game and to clinch the co-championship with Niagara. That was the only time all year. So, you know, a lot of times I think that happens when a team is so balanced and it's so team-oriented, so unselfish that, you know what, they don't care about those things. They just care about winning. So we'll see what happens here tonight, because this is a very, very tough game. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Dave. Here's Jerry Johnson, who has made the first team All-Star squad 3 years running. Robert Taylor connects from the baseline.
Well, despite the fact that they don't think they get much attention, how about this? You get a guy on the all-rookie team. You get a guy on the first team all-conference. You get the 6th Man of the Year award. So they did get a little recognition at that awards banquet. The one thing they also got was a share of the regular season title. Sometimes you can't worry about those things. You just got to play and try and win.
I remember when Rider joined the MAAC back in the late 90s, there was speculation that maybe they wouldn't be able to keep up as they moved up in conference level as Doss fires it up with a shot clock down. But Rider really has stepped right in. Guys like Kevin Finnefrock right from the get-go proved that they belonged. And there is something to that I think they kind of get lost in the shuffle sometimes.
Yeah, their first year in the MAAC was Don Harnum's first year as the head coach. They finished in 2nd, got themselves an NIT bid. A couple of years ago, he was honored as the MAAC Coach of the Year in 2002 when They had that great run, won the regular season behind Player of the Year Mario Porter and all-rookie selection and Rookie of the Year Jerry Johnson. So they've gotten some hardware and recognition. What they haven't done is gotten themselves into the semifinal round of the MAAC tournament.
Minute 15 to go here in the first half. Good defense by Jerry Johnson, denying the pass to Downey. Harris still with the ball, back to Sargent. Quick release from the corner. Nothing but net by Chuck Harris, who, Rob, you said yesterday is being encouraged by the coaches to look more for that shot.
He was just 2 of 8 from the field the other night, but the coaches want him to be more aggressive. That's the type of confidence as a player that you want to see from your coaching staff.
Harris now with 8 points. That, along with Downey, shares team high. Shot clock down to 13. Mouton rejected by Sargent. 3-on-1. Popovsky drops it off. The layup is good by Chuck Harris into double figures, and a quick timeout called by Ryder.
Canisius out and running because of the solid defense at the other end by Sargent, the talented freshman making his presence felt on the defensive end. Hasn't finished at the offensive side, but certainly he has done it in the lane. The Sargent patrolling things inside, policing the lane, getting them out and running on the break.
Well, Rob, did you know that Ryder was founded in 1865 as Trenton Business College and moved out to the suburbs of Lawrenceville in the early 1960s? Known as Ryder College for many years, Ryder officially became Ryder University back in 1994, just before they joined the MAAC. Been a long road from Lawrenceville up to Buffalo, but the Bronx try to hang around for a long weekend through Monday. But the Griffs, who are able to be at home here in Western New York, try to deny them and send them back to the Garden State.
And certainly a much better offensive performance in the first half today against Ryder than they had last time out against Marist, because they've been able to force the pace. This is a Canisius team much more comfortable going up and down the floor.
Mouton flanked by the Johnsons, along with Munoz and Thompson on the baseline. 6 seconds to go in the half. Here comes Jerry Johnson. Instead, they go to Thompson. Mouton with 2 seconds on the clock hits the three, and that gives Ryder the lead heading into the halftime locker room.
And that's why you take the use it or lose it timeout. Good diagram on the sideline by Don Harnum to set up the play. Good defense by Mike McDonald's team to take it away. They didn't get the ball into Jerry Johnson's hands. You see Mike McDonald looking for the travel on Thompson, but the good kick out. Mouton, the 6th man of the year, able to knock down the 3 little burst of energy for Ryder heading into the locker room.
So Munoz leads the way with 11 points for Ryder. Mouton hits the big 3. He now has 6 points, and the Bronx have a 3-point lead. And we see as the time is expiring, Ryder shows good patience. Thompson kicks, and Mouton knocks it down for 3. Let's go over to Dave, standing by with head coach Don Harnum.
Donnie, you did a terrific job hanging around. Canisius is just really getting after it with that 4-guard offense. But you did a great job. I thought your forwards really played well and under control in the first half. They made some tough shots in that half. I mean, this is our 5th half with them of the year. It's about the way every one of them has looked, so it's not shocking me one bit. No, I knew you had a battle coming in here with the game under their belt. They really had a scratch and claw to come back last night, but I think with the size thing, your big guy, I think all of your front line guys have really made significant contributions. Well, their effort has been great, and this game puts a lot of pressure on them with Canisius' guards. But I think we can put a lot of pressure on them on the glass and on the block, and I thought we did do a good job of scoring on the block. All right, well, listen, best of luck in the second half. Thank you, Dave. All right. Thanks, fellas. Back to you.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Coach Harnum. Our halftime score, Ryder 32, Canisius 29. The winner of this one goes on to the MAAC semifinals. Our halftime show coming up after this.
Introducing Gray Line New York Sightseeing's Showbiz Insiders Tour. This is the only way you'll be able to experience all the behind-the-scenes magic riding inside a luxurious deluxe motor coach to the New Amsterdam Theater, home of Disney's The Lion King. Meet a Broadway actor for an intimate performance at Gray Line's Private Theater, the Radio City Stage Door Tour, or a picture with a Rockette, the NBC Studio Tour with Jay Leno and Saturday Night Live, lunch at Planet Hollywood in the heart of Times Square, and much, much more. Exclusively for MAAC family and friends, Gray Line has special hotel packages, which include the Hop-On, Hop-Off double-decker bus all-loops tour. Please call 1-800-669-0051 or visit us at NewYorkSightseeing.com for all the excitement today.
The scene, less than a half-hour drive to the north. We're in downtown Buffalo, where the hometown Canisius Golden Griffins head into the second half, down 3, with a spot in the MAAC semifinals, riding on the outcome. And that man's hometown is Niagara Falls. DeWitt Doss, the senior guard for the Golden Griffins, starting here in the second half, along with Downey, Harris, Popovsky, and Darnell Wilson.
Backcourt of Canisius combining for 13 points. Even though that's a decent first half, the Golden Griffins need more scoring out of those two guys.
There's the quick release from the outside. Chuck Harris with 13 points to lead Canisius.
And he's feeling it. 3 for 4 from beyond the three-point line.
We're tied at 32 apiece. Taylor, Paul Johnson, Jerry Johnson, Edwin Munoz, and Thompson on the floor for the Bronx. Munoz. I think Wilson got a piece of it, and he dribbles up himself. Right around Munoz, still with the dribble. Wilson trying to go coast to coast. Here's Doss. Popovsky. That's a tough defensive assignment on the perimeter for Thompson. Now Downey from the high post, and Munoz realizes, boy, I got to get out there.
And Downey moving without the basketball, saw an opening, got himself to the high post, was open for a while, calling for the basketball. Popovsky finally found him.
Downey in double figures with 10, and still Jerry Johnson only 3 points as we've played a minute here in the second half.
Johnson with a strong finish inside. Nice dump off by Munoz.
That's the first 2 for Jason Thompson. Tied at 34. Wilson's pass deflected out of bounds by Jerry Johnson. The Griffs will keep possession.
Downey just moving without the basketball. Steps into the open area right at the elbow. Able to knock down the easy 15-footer. Play before that. Harris stepping back, showing you his newfound confidence from beyond the three-point line, stepping right into it.
Downey feeds the post. Wilson, the up and under, but missed it. Downey rips it away.
There's the strength of Downey. He's got strong arms, strong hands on the basketball.
Harris, who's had the hot hand, drops it off. Wilson blocked from behind, and the Bronx come away with it.
And he's got to finish those inside, same as last night against Marist. He's missed a couple easy ones in the paint.
Give Popovsky credit right there, keeping with Johnson. Then the foul is given up, but in transition as Johnson, we've seen him, you know, with a change of speed, usually he's able to shed the defender, but Popovsky was with him the entire way.
Absolutely. Harris able to get inside. Nice dump off to Wilson. That's where he's got to finish it off. Good defensive challenge by the Bronx, but that's where Wilson's got to go up with his athletic ability and find a way to score.
And what he winds up doing is gets the third foul on Popovsky. Jerry Johnson, the fourth leading scorer in the league, now with just 5 points. And again, you can take that as a good sign. Ryder leads by 2 without Johnson really getting involved.
And we've seen it so many times as Ryder gets back into the 3-2 zone. So many times that early in the game, he defers to his teammates, trying to get other guys involved. And then with the game on the line, that's when all of a sudden he starts being a little more aggressive with the basketball and takes over from an offensive standpoint.
Taylor kicked the ball out of bounds. And so they reset the shot clock back up to 35 seconds. Robert Taylor coming off of his career high in the regular season finale. That same game against Niagara where he scored 23 points. That coming on senior night.
Out of the zone, Canisius has the ability to spread you out with 4 3-point shooters, including Doss.
Doss had a terrific look but couldn't bury the shot.
There's that extra burst of speed by Johnson in the open floor.
Jerry Johnson able to knock it down. He's starting to heat up. And Ryder up by 5.
He's got the speed with the basketball and the quick release, so as soon as you lose him for a second, ball's out of his hands before you can challenge.
Now, it's hard to believe that Rider University was the only Division I school to offer a scholarship and stick with Jerry Johnson while he awaited his SAT scores in the summer before his freshman year.
Still a perfect example, even with everything that goes on with recruiting, some guys still fall through the cracks.
And there he is heating up. He is a Vinnie Johnson prototype. The microwave, he's got 11 all of a sudden.
And what's amazing, Derek Suber, who's the all-time leading scorer at Rider, he did not have another Division I scholarship. The only school that offered him was St. Francis of New York. He went there, didn't like it. On his way back home, stopped at Rider. Lo and behold, each of their top 2 scorers in school history, both well under-recruited. Johnson with the step-back guys hanging all over him. Now all of a sudden, after being off to a slow start in the first half, the step-back, and he right now is feeling it.
It's a 10-0 Rider run, spearheaded by the senior guard from Lancaster, PA, and the Bronx Zoo, or the facsimile of it here in Buffalo, enjoys what it sees. 42-34 Rider.
Brought a little piece of the zoo up here to Buffalo.
Just a couple of the cages. Not all the animals made the trip. And Rider with his burst, much like they used a 13-2 burst in the first half, they are able to put up points in a hurry, and now they got the 8-point lead.
And each of those 2 runs was keyed by 3-point shots. In the first half, it was the threes by Muñez and then Johnson, Paul Johnson that was. Here in the second half, it's the 3-point shooting of Jerry Johnson to stretch it out.
Rob, this season, Balance Bar Food Company and the MAAC are promoting healthy lifestyles to students, alumni, and fans. And today's tip: challenge your kids to a game of basketball, volleyball, or, yes, it says duck, duck, goose. Make activities part of the family bonding experience. The Balance Bar family of nutritional products aims to aid in the passionate pursuit of everyday endeavors and activities by providing energy that lasts. 42-34, Rider with the lead in the second of our 3 games, our triple header on day number 2 of the MAAC tournament. The winner moves on to the MAAC semifinals. And, well, we've seen Jerry Johnson do this to Canisius before in the MAAC tournament. We talked about his 36-point career high as a freshman against the Griffs. He is up to 11 points, as you see, with 8 of them coming since the break.
And they come quick. 2 quick foul shots and then back-to-back possessions where he finds open threes, once in transition and then once with a nice step back to all of a sudden get his Bronx out to the 8-point lead.
Well, in the regular season, Rider, as you said, Rob, swept Canisius 77-72 up the road at the Kessler Athletic Center. In that game, Johnson went for 25. Then in the second game, great balance. 16 points apiece from Taylor, Thompson, Mouton, and Jerry Johnson. And shooting from outside, they've been doing well for the entire game, and particularly here in the second half. Another open look for Taylor. Muñez, the weak side rebound.
And again, that's been a theme we've seen all game long. Canisius now in the zone defense. They've gotten beaten badly on the backboards. Also difficult to rebound out of the zone.
Thompson from the elbow to Taylor from the foul line with a hand in his face. He buries the jump shot.
Well, the extra pass and the ball movement allows you to make that defense out of the zone move and react. That allows you to get into gaps.
Doss, Harris, Wilson, Downey, and Popovsky out there for the Canisius Golden Griffins in their blue uniforms. They are the 7th seed. Rider is the number 2 seed. So Rider wears the home white uniforms here in the second round of the MAAC tournament. Downey, nothing but net.
Well, they doubled on Popovsky. No defensive rotation out to find Downey. And that's a big 3 right there for Canisius to cut the lead back down to 7.
13 points now for the 6'3 junior guard. and ends a 4-minute drought, Rob, for Canisius. Foul against Canisius. It goes against DeWitt Doss, and that takes us to our next break. Rider with a 7-point lead here on the MAAC Television Network. Rider 44, Canisius 37, a 10-0 run for the Bronx has opened up this 7-point lead. Now Canisius, how will the Griffs respond?
Well, they've got to make sure they get their backcourt going again. DeWitt Doss, who's been quiet here in the second half. They've got to ride what's gotten them here, that 4-guard offense, and they've got to make sure they can figure out ways to take advantage of their quickness on the perimeter by getting into gaps off the bounce.
Well, Popovsky is still scoreless. He averages nearly 11 points per game. Doss has just 5. Harris and Downey each have 13 to lead Canisius. Taylor misses the runner. Sargent just off the bench, pulling down the rebound.
Just as he did last night with his team struggling, Mike McDonald changing up defenses, going with that 1-3-1 zone that paid dividends last night.
Harris somehow gets it over Castleberry with the left hand.
And he has been the offensive star so far for Canisius.
He's within 3 of his career high, which came last month at St. Peter's. 15 points now, 18 is what he's shooting for as a career high.
Canisius foul number 14, Chuck Harris.
Chuck Harris called for the foul.
We said it was important for him to use their quickness to beat people off the dribble, going right at Castleberry as Harris is able to turn the corner. Be careful out of this zone defense to match up and find the 3-point shooters on the perimeter.
Nice job to get it inside to Castleberry, who finishes in traffic.
Nice adjustment. They put Taylor into the high post, moving without the basketball, finding the seam in the zone defense. Once Taylor got it on the high post, terrific bounce pass inside to find Castleberry. Taylor, the senior, doing a good job of recognizing where the opening against the zone was and getting himself in there.
Castleberry, one of many seniors who made the trip out to Western New York this weekend with hopes of extending their college careers beyond this weekend.
And not a coincidence that Rider and Niagara, 2 teams that shared the regular season championship, both of them start 3 seniors. To win championships certainly can rely on senior leadership.
Here is a senior leader for the Bronx, Jerry Johnson. He's got DeWitt Doss with him every step of the way.
Canisius back to straight man-to-man.
Munoz. I think Wilson got a piece of that one. And the big 7-footer making his presence felt again here in the second half.
And that's the key. If he's going to be on the floor and get minutes, you need Steve Castleberry to step up and take advantage of the weakness of Canisius. They play the 4 guards. They don't have the size to match up front. The Sargent comes out of the game, and that's where Castleberry clearly has an advantage.
Now Mike McDonald will have matchup trouble if Castleberry really gets going. Sargent, after picking up the foul and not being able to stop Castleberry on consecutive possessions, is back out of the ball game. The answer by Harris.
And he's been the answer all game long. And again, which advantage is going to play out? Is it going to be the quickness and the ability of Canisius to step the bigger, taller Rider players away from the basket, or will Rider be able to maneuver into paint?
Johnson for 3.
Or just give Johnson the ball and don't worry about it.
Jerry Johnson with 14 points, 11 of them coming here in the first 7 minutes of the second half. Popovsky's picked up another foul going over the back.
And the quickness of Johnson to track down that loose rebound. And that's the 4th on Popovsky, who's been a non-factor offensively here today. Downey got a good look off the high screen. Good defense rotation on the closeout. Then just the quickness and athletic ability of Johnson to beat Popovsky to the ball.
So there he takes a seat with the 4 fouls. Is Canisius Golden Griffins down by 10 once again, 52-42.
After the slow start from Johnson, missing his first 5 shots from beyond the 3-point line, he's knocked down his last 3.
Johnson, terrific feed to Castleberry for his 3rd straight field goal.
And right now, Canisius just out out of sync on the defensive end.
They did not defend the pick and roll well. Johnson fed the post beautifully. Doss blocked by Castleberry. The big fella again, and here come the Bronx. Johnson, the quick pass to Thompson, who finishes.
And right now, Mike McDonald needs a timeout. Might be one possession too late. Ryder out and running right now. Mike McDonald's team has just not done it the last couple possessions defensively, and Ryder has stretched the lead out to 14.
Wow, this has happened quickly, and Steve Castleberry has been in the midst of it at both ends.
Absolutely, using his size inside on the post. Good feeds from his teammates, good hustle on the offensive boards, and then he does it at the other end as well. If they're going to play 4 guards and you've got a big guy on the floor, if he can step up and make his presence felt in the lane, then you've got an advantage. Right now, that advantage has grown to 14 for the Bronx.
And in the blink of an eye, the last 2 minutes and 24 seconds, Ryder has gone on a 12-3 run. Castleberry with 3 of the baskets in that, and then the consecutive block shots at the other end. The 7-foot senior from Mullica Hill, New Jersey, playing like he wants to play again this season. Ryder has an overall record of 17-10. They won 4 of their last 5 in the regular season. If they make it to the MAAC championship game and lose, are they an NIT team, Rob?
Absolutely. A share of the regular season crown. That would get them up to 19 wins. Absolutely. I think that they are well deserving of keeping this run going in the postseason. They also got a great player in Jerry Johnson, which is also a consideration with what teams are going to end up in the NIT.
Well, Don Harnum has been able to maintain the success rate in his 8 seasons at Rider University. He's the 4th winningest coach in Rider history, and Steve Castleberry, the Marist College transfer, has come up with a big second half here in the second round of the MAAC tournament.
Here's where Canisius has to respond out of the timeout, sensing this is a big possession. Mike McDonald gets Popovsky back into the game, even though he's been a non-factor offensively.
That's just the second team foul on Ryder here in the second half, so the Bronx cheer from the Canisius fans, not from the Bronx Zoo.
The sarcastic round of applause.
That's the B-R-O-N-X cheer, not the B-R-O-N-C-S cheer. But the Bronx fans at the other end haven't got much to complain about at this point. Their team's up 14. Popovsky back in, and he's fouled by Thompson on the drive to the basket. And that brings us to our next timeout. 11:58 on the clock. Ryder has opened up a 14-point lead on the MAAC television network. Ryder with a 14-point lead, and folks, Fidelis Care is proud to sponsor the Fidelis Care family section. Fidelis Care providing free or low-cost health insurance to all New Yorkers through the Child and Family Health Plus programs. And sitting with the first family of Canisius basketball, Dave McGarity standing by. Dave?
It's a lot, Doug. I've got the whole McDonald clan up here. First of all, we got Mike's sons, his 3 sons here, Matt, Pat, and Nicholas, and they're all up here. We're working hard for the Golden Griffs. We know they can come back. They certainly came back last night. And his brother Tim's here. We got the twins. We got a full team here. When they must have beat the heck up out of their brother Michael when they were growing up. But he did it last night, so I know he can do it again. He certainly did it against me enough times.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. We have one more run in us. Don't worry. Don't count us out yet. We come a long way to get to this tournament every year, and we absolutely positively have one more run in us tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, after the run they made last night, tremendous second half, and, these guys have not quit all year long. I've done a number of their games. I did their game at Marist a couple weeks ago, and these kids just play so hard for him, and what a great job. What a young team they got.
Yep, he should be a favorite next year, and a lot of good things coming in the future, but we're here for tonight, and we're not going out without making some noise. Absolutely.
What do you think, guys?
We're going to win.
Absolutely. All right. Doug, back to you guys.
All right, thank you. The family of head coach Mike McDonald for the Canisius Golden Griffins. They rallied from 9 down in the first round to win, but they are stuck here even worse because Steve Castleberry is putting on a show.
They're not going to make a run unless they figure out a way to handle the big guy inside. Steve Castleberry making his presence felt here in the second half.
Castleberry quickly with 11 points and only 10 minutes of action off the bench. And here comes Ryder on the run again, up 14. Johnson gives to Mouton. He can't hit the 3.
A great pass.
And a great finish by Castleberry.
Well, the quickness of Johnson to track down the long rebound, and then a bullet pass inside to Steve Castleberry. Talking to Don Harnum, he said, trying to figure out how to get Castleberry minutes has been tough for him all season long because he hasn't been able to match up against guys. This is a league that doesn't have big, slow centers and guys that Castleberry can bang with inside, and at times he's been beaten off the dribble by quicker guys. But so far here tonight, he's been able to dominate inside because nobody's putting a body on the big guy.
11 points on 5 for 6 shooting for Steve Castleberry. And again, that has come in only 10 minutes off the bench. Paul Johnson up ahead to Mouton. He's going to have to hustle, and he does. Track down the ball. Castleberry double team. Fights through it. This time, the Griffs figure out a way to stop it.
Yeah, good block from behind by Sargent to get a piece of it.
10-10 to go second half. Ryder with a 16-point lead. This game was close until about 5 minutes ago, and then a burst by the Bronx has opened it up.
Defensively, Paul Johnson doing a great job on Downey, keeping the ball out of the star player for Canisius' hands.
Downey working the post, and he's fouled by Paul Johnson, who thinks that Downey should be called for the hook.
Mouton drops it in. Here comes the double as Sargent gets himself into the low post to bother him and then comes up with the block from behind.
But you can see how much size they are giving up in the paint to Castleberry. There's nobody that that Canisius is going to put out there that can go toe-to-toe with Castleberry. He's 7 feet tall, and the guys defending him are no taller than 6'8". Rigoberto Sargent is the next tallest guy for Canisius, and he's 4 inches shorter. Harris, a little strong off the glass. Taylor finds himself all alone, can't hit it. Thompson takes it away from Sargent. Taylor hits the floater.
It was Thompson that started it with a terrific effort on the offensive glass, and then Robert Taylor, who's played very well once again here this evening. He has had a couple terrific games coming down the stretch of his senior season.
And Mike McDonald is going to dip even further into his bench, looking for an answer inside. 6'10" junior Mike Hanley, who has used very little, is at the scorer's table.
That's where Sargent's more comfortable facing up, even though he's 6'8" and got a big wide body. He's not comfortable yet scoring with his back to the basket.
Jerry Johnson. Back out front to Taylor. And they will reset. Shot clock down to 17. Jerry Johnson comes back, and the converted 2-guard, who's now a 1 or combo guard, however you want to call it, looks for a shot, able to find it from 20.
Call him whatever you want. Call him Mr. Johnson right now, because he has just once again taken this game over. Certainly Castleberry has been a story with his inside scoring presence, but it's been Jerry Johnson who has opened this game up in the second half.
Well, he has certainly been a delight for Don Harnum. He says that not only is he my best player, he's my hardest worker, and it makes it easier for everybody else.
And certainly he has adapted and changed his game as he has deferred to teammates much more so. And Don said, you know what? Yesterday was a great example of how he's matured. He said we were up at the awards ceremony. They had a great spread of food out there. As you see, he has really heated it up.
Yep.
He said, great spread of food. And I said to Jerry, I said, what do you want? You want to eat here, or you want to go find our teammates who are eating back at the hotel? He said, get me out of here. I want to go back with my teammates. And he said, that speaks to just what type of a leader Jerry Johnson has become here in his senior season.
And there you go, Rob. He calls his teammates over coming out of the huddle at 8:32 as they try to seal their spot in the semifinals.
Yeah, there's no question that it's his team.
And with that burst here in the second half, Johnson has gotten up to 17 points. 65-46, Ryder on top. Harris can't find the mark. Munoz has it knocked out of bounds by Downey, so the Bronx will have it.
And Canisius can't get anything going inside, so that now they have to settle for so many outside shots. And right now, they're not making shots. And remember, Ryder, the best team at defending the three-point shot in the MAAC. They get out and put pressure on you out on the perimeter.
Johnson from about 27 feet came up short.
That was from Niagara Falls. But the other Johnson there to clean it up.
Paul Johnson with 8 points. And the Ryder lead extends now to 21 points. It was a 3-point game at the half. And they have just pulled away here in the second half.
They got away with a cold shooting half last night against Marist, but not going to get away with the cold shooting half here tonight.
Popovsky gets fouled on the rebound by Paul Johnson. But as we take a break, we see one Johnson helping another. Paul and Jerry working in tandem. Jerry couldn't find the range, but there's Paul, Johnny on the spot. All Ryder here in the second half. Steve Castleberry, the catalyst for Ryder. Kind of a surprise. Where have you been? Well, he comes in here in the second half, and the 7-foot senior from Mullica Hill, New Jersey, has been the difference as the Bronx have pulled away.
Well, absolutely making the most of his opportunity, getting some minutes and delivering, pounding the basketball inside, getting it off the offensive boards as well. He certainly was able to maneuver inside with no matchup size-wise for him on the offensive end, and then doing it at the defensive end as well. He's been a big part of the 23-7 run here by Ryder to open it up. How about 13 points in 13 minutes? That's pretty productive.
On 6 of 8 shooting, his teammates have done a nice job of finding him on the post, and he has been extremely efficient putting the ball through the hole, as you saw.
And Canisius is just so perimeter-oriented because they've not been able to beat people off the dribble.
Downey rattles one home.
Well, if you're going to live by the 3, you can also die by it. But right now, to get themselves back into this game, they're going to have to step up and knock down some threes on the perimeter.
Taylor, Munoz, Mouton, Paul Johnson, and Jason Thompson on the floor. Munoz has it knocked out of bounds by Wilson with 16 on the shot clock. Popovsky and Wilson out there with DeWitt Doss, Harris, and Kevin Downey. Canisius trying to stage one last furious comeback, but do they have enough in their tank to come back from 18 down with 6:40 to go? We'll find out. Mouton, well short. Here come the Griffs trying to cut into that lead on the run.
And if they're going to make a run, he's got to get more involved. DeWitt Doss with just 5 points. Gets himself an opportunity to get a couple from the line. Came into the game needing 10 to go over the 1,000-point mark. And if they're going to make a run, he's got to get more involved on the offensive end.
And that might have been a big bucket had it gone. Instead, he's got to go to the line and earn the 2.
And Canisius not a team that's real comfortable getting up in full court pressure. They have not pressed a whole lot this season as Doss missed an opportunity from the line.
All 5 of those points for Doss came in the first half. Now he's on the board in the second half, but instead of what could have been a 3-point play to get the crowd back in it, turns out to be just 1 point for Canisius.
See, Ryder handles the pressure with no problem.
Well, you've got seniors in the backcourt, Taylor and Jerry Johnson, who've seen it all before. They handle it very well. This is Taylor on the low block. On the up fake, Wilson blocked his shot. Here comes Popovsky. Popovsky loves to go to that left hand on the penetration, and he is fouled.
He takes that long step to get by the defender.
His 4th foul. Popovsky will shoot 2.
Popovsky able to get around the corner. Goes in against Taylor, who's had a good game and now picks up his 4th foul. That could be a factor coming down the stretch if Canisius is able to make a run here, get back into the ball game.
Now John Popovsky, the junior from Guelph, Ontario, has just scored his first point as Taylor goes out of the ball game. Popovsky averages nearly 11 per game, but he has struggled so far here tonight. Makes a pair. Canisius back within 15 points with under 6 minutes on the clock.
They're going to have to force some turnovers against the Bronx if they're going to get back into this one.
Johnson comes and takes the ball from Munoz with 21 on the shot clock.
Canisius in the midst of a little 6-0 run, and if you're going to continue the run, you've got to get stops at this end of the floor. That's how you stop a run, by making a silly foul off the ball.
Canisius foul on number 14.
That's not the guy to foul. Leads the conference in foul shooting percentage. Not Mike McDonald, but
yes,
Jerry Johnson.
Jerry Johnson certainly can stroke it from the line, and he can do it from anywhere on the floor. A terrific shooting touch. He's up to 18 points now, just a touch under his season average. Fans, get the latest MAAC news and scores sent right to your wireless phone by signing up for the MAAC Verizon Wireless Coaches Corner at MAACsports.com. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Jerry Johnson never stops working for the Rider Broncs. Slow start in the first half, but he was the catalyst to get things going here in the second. Rider goes zone. The problem with that is you got to make sure you get out and defend the three.
They say a kicked basketball, so reset the shot clock. And Canisius will keep possession of the basketball on the baseline. Harris with the dribble. He's been the leading scorer for Canisius with 18. Thompson called for the blocking foul. Riders over the limit. So we've got free throws coming for the Griffs. A 1-and-1 for Harris. Number 4 in terms of fouls against Thompson, the big freshman who made the All-MAAC rookie team. And he's trying to plead his case to head coach Don Harnum and saying, leave me in the ball game. And Coach Harnum says, move your feet.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to come out and hedge on that high screen, great. But be smart. Make sure that you stay away from contact.
And so Harris has himself a new career high with 19 points. That's double his season average for Mike McDonald's Canisius Golden Griffins. And there you see the numbers. He's been efficient. And that is why, like you said yesterday, and again tonight, Canisius coaches want him to look more for his own shot.
And now they've got to be aggressive up in the full court pressure.
The timeout is granted with 5:09 left in regulation.
So Thompson put Paul Johnson in a tough spot, inbounding the basketball right along the sidelines and forcing him into a trap situation, which got him a timeout.
Well, this timeout gives us an opportunity to take a look at our Pepsi Slam of the game, and it was Mr. Energy in the second half, Steve Castleberry. Pepsi, it's the cola. And look at that again. That's a senior who comes here to Buffalo knowing, I don't want my college career to end now. I want to play next weekend, the following weekend, and keep going.
Not one of those high-flying dunks that usually is our Pepsi Slam of the game. But with that stat line, why not? Give him his just reward. He certainly was a big story in the second half with his presence inside.
Here comes the double team against Jerry Johnson. Ryder breaks the pressure. Munoz wisely slows down and waits for the captain, Jerry Johnson.
Ryder does an excellent job in their half-court offense of spreading you out and spacing. They're a tough team when you have to go chase the likes of Jerry Johnson.
He's off the mark this time. Popovsky with the rebound. With Doss on the left wing. Into traffic. Easy block shot for Thompson. Didn't have to leave his feet.
But Doss had an open shot along the baseline. Even if he flares out, maybe you get a three in transition. Instead, over-dribble penetration right into the defense.
So now Mouton, Johnson, Thompson, and Munoz look to work a little more time off the clock and try to shorten this game.
Again, they'll spread you out. They're very content to play like this and force you to go chase late in the shot clock. High pick and roll with Johnson.
The pick never came. Munoz pops to the corner and puts up an air ball. Doss around Johnson. Terrific move by the senior. And a quick timeout called by Canisius. The Griffs are back within 13 with just under 4 minutes to go.
Certainly enough time if they can force some turnovers and get a couple quick baskets. Unfortunately for Mike McDonald and the Golden Griffs, they haven't forced turnovers, so Riders come down on the offensive end and taking some time off the clock.
All right, Rob, let's take a look once again at the MAAC tournament brackets brought to you by Pontiac. The first ever G6 from Pontiac is equipped with the most powerful standard V6 in its class. With action, anything is possible. Check out a G6 today at your local Pontiac dealer. Pontiac, official performance machines of the NCAA.
Iona with their win against St. Peter's, slight upset. Not necessarily that the 5 seed advanced against the 4, but how easily the Gales handled the Peacocks. That should be a very interesting matchup. They've had 2 very good games. They split the regular season. Niagara winning by 2 on their home court. And then Iona handling the Purple Eagles in New Rochelle.
In terms of a check of the timeouts remaining, Riders got 2. Canisius has 1. And we've got ourselves an official timeout with the quick foul call. We'll step away from Buffalo. Well, the talk coming into the tournament was that Rider University, since joining the MAAC, had never made the tournament semifinals. But right now, they're 3 minutes and 55 seconds away from doing just that, Rob.
And if they take care of the basketball, make foul shots, then Don Arnhem and his team certainly will advance on into the semis for the first time in school history. On that last possession, that was absolutely the last thing that Canisius wanted out of the timeout to set up the full court pressure. And as soon as the ball is inbounded, you foul not only the best foul shooter in the MAAC, but one of the top 10 foul shooters in the country, and Jerry Johnson.
And he is 6 out of 7 from the line tonight. Up to 20 points, as you see, the majority of it coming here in the second half. Harris clears the rebound for the Golden Griffins. Downey puts his head down, tries to find Wilson, but it's knocked out of bounds by Jerry Johnson. Canisius keeps possession. 3:42 on the clock as time ticks away. Chuck Harris, who has been the top scorer for Canisius, misfired. Poposky with another rebound. That is one thing that John Poposky has done. While he has not been scoring points, Poposky has been working the glass. That was his 9th rebound.
They needed that 3. A wide open look from the corner. Had plenty of time to set his feet.
Mouton uses the screen for Munoz. Great pass. Off the dribble with the left hand. Whizzed it right by the defender's ear like you're supposed to do, and right on the money.
And terrific catch as well by Munoz, because that pass was a bullet pass.
Munoz now with 13 points, under 3 minutes in regulation, and the lead is back to 16. Doss, no. Jerry Johnson, yes, with the rebound.
Canisius starting to run out of opportunities.
2:45 left in regulation. Foul on the post. It's going to go against Darnell Wilson. Let's take another look at that terrific pass off the dribble by Mouton.
Well, Mouton might be the 6th man of the year this year, as he got that honor along with James Mathis and Charlie Bell, but he'll be the starting point guard next year. And I guarantee you'll see a lot of that. Mouton to the big guy inside, and Munoz.
Well, the role that Mouton has played his first 2 years as an auxiliary player, as more of a spot-up shooter, will obviously have to grow next year with the graduation of Jerry Johnson.
And Don Harnham very confident that Mouton will step up and become a very solid point guard. Certainly you're not going to replace Jerry Johnson and all that he's done for this program over the 4 years, but he's very excited about Mouton.
Poposky stepped down the baseline.
Trying to get by Mouton, a little contact, no call, but then he steps out of bounds and you get the whistle.
This is Mouton, who will ascend the throne of lead guard next year, being fouled at midcourt. If it's on Poposky, it's his 5th, and that is the case. So Poposky fouls out, having scored just a couple of foul shots, 9 rebounds. And the junior from Ontario is done for the night.
Played a long stretch with those 4 fouls and just never could get himself on track offensively. Fouls out without having scored a field goal. 0 for 5 from the floor.
Rob, this copyrighted telecast of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the MAAC and MAAC Properties, a division of Host Communications.
John Hardam, though, would like to reproduce this effort next time out.
Yes, he would.
Team did a terrific job really establishing a quick tempo in that second half. They're able to take advantage and exploit the height inside. Muñez doing it inside. Thompson with a couple easy baskets, and then the unexpected contribution from Castleberry. Came into the game averaging just a little over 8 rebounds, or 8 points, per game, who stepped up with a very productive 13 points in 13 minutes.
And it would appear that the second-seeded Rider Broncs will move into tomorrow's 4 o'clock semifinal to take on the winner of our final game here tonight. Coming up at the conclusion of this one, it'll be Fairfield against Manhattan. Harris, a little strong. Mouton with another rebound. Iona's already in the semifinals. The Gales beat Siena in yesterday's opening round, then took care of St. Peter's in an upset earlier this evening here in Buffalo. And the Gales will take on Niagara in tomorrow's 2 o'clock MAAC semifinal. Muñez strong in the post.
Yeah, those two guys playing two-man game. You got to like that. Johnson curling off the screen. Got himself a good look at the basket, but instead a better look to find Muñez inside.
Bird sloppy with the ball. Thompson comes away with it. Taylor missed the easy one, and then we got a foul on the rebound. Muñez called for the personal.
You and I talked a little bit last night about how this Canisius team is a very young team. Only one senior in the lineup that will not be back next year, and that's DeWitt Doss, as his career will come to an end. Inching ever so close to that 1,000-point mark. Needs just 2 to get that milestone mark. And I tell you what, he got the ball inside. Here he's got an opportunity to get himself to the line and try and get into that coveted 1,000-point club.
And while Rider starts to clear its bench, I have a feeling that we'll see Doss out there until he gets a chance. If he doesn't get 1,000 here, and he doesn't, so chances are Coach McDonald is aware of that statistical milestone and will keep him in there. Armel Minion has come into the game for the first time. Muñez is done for the day, sits down with 15 points. There is Minion, the 6'9" senior from Cameroon, with a quick bucket. Under a minute to go.
All the Rider Bronc front court guys getting it.
Doss.
There he goes, over 1,000 points.
Quick timeout called by Mike McDonald to get his 5th-year senior a nice round of applause. He sits down with 11 points and 1,001 for his Canisius college career.
And you see the congratulations coming from everybody on the bench. And he's had a tough 5 years, battled through injuries. Last year got knocked out late in the season, missed games with the torn ACL. That after having sat out the entire year before with injuries. So that's a nice way to end your career. Certainly he'd rather have it on the winning side, but also nice to get over that 1,000-point mark.
Absolutely. Played 2 years, then sat out his 3rd year with a broken left foot, then played his next 2 years, and actually Doss will stay in the ball game for the final 49.2. But congratulations to him in a losing effort, knocking down the triple and getting over 1,000 for his career.
And here's a nice move. Nice move by Mike McDonald. He went over and talked to Bob Adams and said, you know what, let me get DeWitt Doss out of the game. That's a nice job right there by both Mike McDonald and by Bob Adams to get a curtain call for DeWitt Doss, 5th-year senior. Nice job by Mike McDonald. You see how important Doss is to this program, and a great piece of officiating by Bob Adams as well to make that happen.
And the fans from Canisius appreciate their 5th-year senior. He's been replaced by Andrew Spittler. If that Spittler name sounds familiar to you, that's because we already saw his brother Tim, who's a freshman for St. Peter's, play in our first game here tonight.
And Wilson, a little frustration on the foul. Took Minion down hard and gets called for the intentional, so Rider get the foul shots and possession of the basketball. So a great piece of sportsmanship by Mike McDonald and Bob Adams to get the curtain call for DeWitt Doss, and then the frustration by Wilson. Want to make sure that you play through and show that great sportsmanship. Wilson got a little carried away on the foul.
Minyem will shoot 2. Cameron Warner is into the game for Ryder. Aaron White is back in, and Lewis Thompson is in for the first time for the Bronx. That expression says it all for Canisius. This was a ball game. Through the first half, it was tied at 29 right before the intermission. Mouton hit a 3 at the buzzer. Ryder led by 3 at the half. It was close for a couple of minutes in the second half, but then a big 23-7 run, including a 10-0 burst, opened it up, and Canisius never recovered. Also into the game, Kevin Hickman, a freshman walk-on from Newark, Delaware. The ball kicked out of bounds. Ryder will try to inbound once again, and now Jess Poe, a freshman from Maysville, Kentucky, comes in for Canisius, and Spittler gets a round of applause. He's a senior out of St. Joseph's High School here in Buffalo, and so he gets a nice round of applause from the folks here in Western New York. Nice job by Mike McDonald to be aware of all these things and make sure everybody gets their due.
Absolutely. He's a guy who, as we said, shown you tremendous class coming down, and this has been a tough run over the last couple of years. They've had some incredible things happen to this program, including the tragic death in the offseason to Richard Jones, and he's done a great job of keeping this team together, fighting through all that adversity, and certainly they've got a chance to be a pretty darn good team next year with all these guys back, plus what they've got sitting out with the 2 transfers led by Corey Harris.
Poe tried to get into the scoring column. Here's Hanley. Time winding down. The Griffs are going to bow out of the MAAC tournament, falling by 20. 79-59. Ryder, for the first time in history, is on to the MAAC semifinals.
And it was that second half burst led by Jerry Johnson that got things started, and then Steve Castleberry with his presence inside. 2 seniors stepping up to extend their college careers.
Ryder's record improves to 18-10 overall, and the co-champs of the regular season are on to the semifinals. Canisius ends its year with a record of 11-18. They fall by 20 in spite of 16 points from Kevin Downey and 20 points from Chuck Harris. We'll take a break, come back to wrap things up here in Buffalo. Ryder 79, Canisius 59. We'll be back with more MAAC basketball after this.